that approach of a really proactive, sustainable ecosystem is what it made me believe in having a restaurant.
Welcome to Food Tribe, a podcast all about the people doing great things in the world of food. I'm your host, Georgie Creven, and each week I'll be talking to chefs, farmers, producers, cookbook authors, and restaurateurs about their food journeys, the highs and lows of working in this industry, and what food means to them. So join me as I take a closer look at the stories behind the tribe of trailblazers making their mark on our food industry. Hello friends, it's been a while. I hope you're doing well. What a year, my God. But it feels like summer is finally on its way. Restaurants are open here in the UK. There's delicious food to be had and wine to be drunk. So let the good times roll. I'm very happy to be back with season 6 of Food Tribe and sharing more incredible stories with you. As always, I have some amazing guests lined up for this season. And today on the show, I'll be speaking to none other than the uber-talented ray of sunshine, superstar Mexican chef, Santiago Lastra. So since he left Mexico at the age of 18, Santiago has been pretty much traveling the world, the ultimate nomad chef. And in 2017, he had the opportunity to work with Rene Redzepi and the Noma team when they asked him to project manage the entire Noma Mexico pop-up in Tulum, which was a massive success. And this experience of sharing Mexican food in this way with people from all over the world led to a dream for Santiago, a dream of putting down roots and creating a restaurant, a home, a community, a place where people could come to experience the taste and hospitality and soul of Mexico. And finally, after 3 years of dreaming and imagining and cooking and refining, and the roller coaster of the pandemic, which included 2 short openings last year, Santiago's restaurant Cole is now open in the heart of London, and it is something very special. Santiago's vision really feels like a personal love note to Mexico and all its beauty and charm and flavors that so many of us have yet to experience, and he's managed to bring that to life in one beautiful space. Everything is so thought out and done with so much care, from the handmade pots he's chosen to display around the restaurant from a potter he met in Mexico, the house wines that have been specially made for him, to all the various producers and growers around the UK that he's personally handpicked to be a part of the Cole ecosystem. And you really can feel it when you walk through the doors. This is Santiago's baby, and it's so exciting to see his dream being realized. So I got to meet Santiago, the chef with the $1 million smile, a few weeks ago at Cole to chat about the journey so far and how Cole came to be. He shares a bit about his food and the wine and the mezcal and what diners can expect. And of course, we also talk about his background and why he loves to cook and what opening his restaurant means to him. So here goes. I hope you enjoy this conversation with Santiago Lastra.
The idea was, I remember when I was working in Europe, I left Mexico when I was 18, and I took a plane to Spain, and I was working there, and I remember people asking me like, oh, you should make some Mexican food, you're Mexican, right? So I was like, no, actually, you can't make Mexican food in Spain, you don't have the ingredients. I can't do it. So then I was doing, I used to work in an Italian restaurant, so I used to do Italian food for staff, because I was like a young cook, and then every time that I will move to another restaurant, either in Spain, in Denmark, in any other country that I was working for other chefs, they will ask me like, "You're Mexican, do something Mexican," And I was like, I can't. You know, I refused for 10 years to be able to do Mexican food because I will not get the right ingredients until I was in Copenhagen, and then I realized that, I mean, like, their approach to cooking in the new Nordic cuisine, in Noma and in all these restaurants, Relais, Manfred's, and all these restaurants, that they get inspiration from other countries, but then they use their ingredients. So then they talk about this idea of using your personality as a cook into the ingredients, and that I learned that there. And I remember the chef in a restaurant that I used to work there was like, "Oh, Santiago, we're really excited to have you in the team because we would love to have your Mexican input in our food." And at that moment, after all these years saying no, I cannot make Mexican food, I remember at that moment I was like, I can't. Like, my first thought was like, there's no way, like,
because you hadn't cooked, you hadn't been living in Mexico for ages.
Yeah,
you hadn't
exactly.
cooked it, you hadn't been cooking the food.
Yeah, and then I was like, there's no possible, but thank you, you know. But then
thank you, but no thank you.
It's like, how can I do that? And then after years, and then I have a little. I had the opportunity to have 1 week off when I was in Copenhagen, and making a dinner with a friend from Sweden. That he actually have a restaurant in the UK called Gem, HJEM.
Oh, it's in Hyde Park?
No, it's in the restaurant is in close to Newcastle.
Okay.
In Northumberland.
Okay, North.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Northumberland.
Yeah, exactly. Northumberland.
That's the one.
Incredible restaurant. So we had the week off, and then we went to Sweden to cook a dinner, and the idea was to make Mexican food, and he will make some Swedish dishes. I was make some Mexican dishes. So it was like more like a. But then I wasn't able to get any ingredients, and then we realized that, which just like, he was like, okay, well, we cannot get anything of the things that you want to make the dinner, but let's do it. You know, let's just use what we have.
You better get creative.
Yeah. And then from that need, I was like, okay, let's call it Mexican Nordic. You know, and we just use whatever we have here to get the spicy notes, to get the acidity. You know, like, just to get more into the flavor than the actual traditional recipes, and the strictness of food, and then it was a success. And then instead of instead of chilies, I will use like different roots that are spicy, like or like herbs that are quite a little bit spicy. Horseradish, you will use horseradish, or instead of like different herbs that we have, like anisey herbs in Mexico, we'll use tarragon, or so it was a really, really early stage of like what I'm doing right now, but
that's where the sort of seed of the
but then it was like, actually this is really interesting to be able to call this a pipián, that is like a pumpkin seed sauce that has nothing to do with the traditional pipián in terms of ingredients that you eat in Oaxaca, but we're just using what we have here. We use the pumpkin seeds, but then we use all the roots, the vegetables, the herbs that we have here
to recreate that flavor profile.
Yeah, exactly. You recreate the flavor profile, but at the same time, it tastes like there. It tastes like Sweden. You know, it like really. This dish tastes like Sweden in a Mexican way, and that was interesting for me. And then at the end of the day, I got approached to make a pop here in Carousel. Like there were some people in that dinner, and that they post in Instagram. And Instagram wasn't like a really big thing back then, but they posted in Instagram, and then Oli, they just opened
from Carousel.
They just opened Carousel that year.
It's crazy, because when was it? About 2015.
Wow. And they saw that, and then I was
ago.
like, oh, let's get these guys to come over and cook Mexican Nordic dinner in Carousel. So they asked me after that dinner to come to Carousel, and I came over. Alex wasn't able to come, so I came over. And then after here I made it with some British ingredients. And then I went to Italy. They after the dinners that I made here, then from Italy, they contact me. It's like, oh, we saw that you make this dinner in Carousel in London. You want to do it in Italy? I was like, yes. So I went to Italy, and then after that, the people invite me to Russia, and then to Taiwan,
and then it all.
Yeah, so then everything was like organically. It was an organic process of traveling the world with this concept of bringing Mexico to the world, kind of thing. But the interesting fact was that I didn't really knew anything about Mexico. I was just like this Mexican guy that think that he knows some things. Even though I studied a culinary school in Mexico for 3 years, I studied also like a special degree in Mexican cuisine. I tried to read as many books as I could, but I knew really what it was until I worked at Noma.
Yeah, which I want to get to.
And then I was like, it was life-changing, because then it was when you realize what it really is Mexico, you know. And then it changed, everything changed, you know.
It seemed like doing research on you, obviously it's been such a journey to get to this point to opening your own restaurant, but it was like you had life before your experience with Noma, and then it gave you this incredible opportunity to rediscover Mexico and your cuisine and your, you know, the different dishes and ingredients. And it gave you this whole route into expressing Mexican cuisine. Yeah. So if you can maybe take us back to when you're standing on the beach, you finished this intense 6-week, I think it was 6-week pop-up in 2017, working with Rene and his team in the jungle in Tulum, putting on, I think it's been the most successful food pop-up in the world, which was must have been an amazing experience. Yeah. And then you're thinking, what next? Yeah,
I mean, it was a really intense year, because I worked there for like a bit, like basically for a year before we opened the restaurant, the pop-up restaurant. So to be able to open these 7 weeks, it was a year of work almost. And I remember that I obviously was big fan of Rene and of Noma for a long time, like for years.
Didn't you originally go to Copenhagen in the hope, when you were like early 20s, in the hope of working there?
Yeah. I was exactly. So when I actually moved to Copenhagen in 2014, I was 24, and I wanted to work at Noma, but then it was like, that was my dream basically, but then, or like to make a stash, work for free there. But then it was complicated, because I didn't have like they don't give you accommodation. So then I didn't have any money. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna work somewhere, and I'm gonna save some money, and then I can do the stash. This is like an internship.
Yeah, and you work for free essentially.
Yeah. I mean, like it's more than that. It's more like a
you learn.
It's like a training. Yeah, exactly. So then at the end of the day, I wasn't able to really afford that training. So then I was okay. I'm gonna work for a year, and then I will do it. But then different things happen. I got another job, and I wasn't really able to. Basically my life changed. And then the fact of living in Copenhagen 3 years, then I was like, okay, I know already this. I don't need to really go there, or I want to move on. And so then that thought passed, but I was still like really big fan of what they do, and I knew that they were doing this pop-up in Mexico before everyone, because I was living there. So there was rumors.
You were living where? In
Copenhagen, yeah. So there were rumors. I was like, oh, they're making this pop-up, because they did it in Australia and they did it in Japan. So then there were rumors. I was like, oh, they're probably going to go to Mexico. I was like, wow, that's amazing. But then I moved to Russia, and I was making these events and cooking these different things, and
the Mexican food with the local
with the local ingredients. And then I was doing that in Russia and making these things. So then I just like kind of like said like, okay, just gonna move on, but then suddenly I got approached by them, and
didn't you post a picture somewhere and the head pastry chef had seen it and he was like, can you come and?
It was kind of like one of those things that you get recommended. So people recommend me with them. So some people from different countries. And that was interesting, I think, for them to be able to have like this guy. Who's this guy? That everyone is talking that it will be nice to lead this project, and then they reached out to me. Rocio Sanchez, she reached out to me, and I was in Russia, and then I just literally the next day I quit my job there. The next day I was in Copenhagen, and I had a meeting with her and with Renee, and then from there it was all this like journey of re-understanding Mexico.
Yeah, because they gave you the job to basically project manage the whole pop-up.
Yeah,
and you were like, what, 26?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. I was 26, and then I think Renee. I'm really thankful with Renee. He really believed that I could lead that project without really knowing.
Yeah, because
anything.
you doubted yourself. Yeah, you didn't know that much about Mexican cuisine.
Exactly. So then I was doing these events and things, but then I didn't really fully understand or know or knew anyone in Mexico in the food world. I was more like an outsider,
a nomad chef.
Yeah. So then I remember that I told Renee the first day, I was like, actually, I don't know Mexico as well. And I'm from Mexico, but the only thing that I know about Mexico is the beach. I've only been in the beach in Acapulco,
where you grew up.
Yeah, in Acapulco or in Cancun. I only been in the beach and maybe in a couple of places, but I don't know how to make a deal with a producer. Yeah. Or like to find the best fish or the best seafood, or to organize research trips. Yeah. For you, I don't know how to do these things. So then probably I'm the wrong person. And he said that if I can give you, if you want to get this job, I can give, we can discover it together.
That's amazing.
And that was life changing for me, because I think he understood that I will do anything for them, and I will. Like I literally every single time that I was working for someone or I was doing something, and I give everything, and I give them everything. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna flipping do it. I give my whole life to it. Like there's no way around it. It's the only thing that exists, and I think he understood that, even though I didn't say that. And he gave me the chance, and then I had I have 9 days, like 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks to organize the first research trip, from scratch. I was like, okay, where do we want to go? I was like, just bring us to Mexico, and we don't want to waste time.
And then that's when you
and make sure there's good coffee, and that's it. That's the only directions that I had.
And you got to rediscover Mexico together.
And then we had 14 flights in 16 days, and itinerary of meeting producers, indigenous communities, restaurants, markets, everything. And then I think it was that opened up my mind, because at the end of the day, to have this Noma menu is Noma email is like a superpower. Like people will.
Yeah, you're hot shit now.
Yeah, people will answer you.
Yeah.
And so then I got the opportunity to meet incredible people, from researchers to chefs to producers, people that own charities and different organizations that work with indigenous communities. So it was a really good way to really privileged position to be in terms of making research, because sometimes if you're trying to make research or trying to reach out people, no one really answered you. But then this one was straight away, everyone just yes, how can we do this? And then that was amazing.
But I'm sure such a special experience for you to get to reconnect with Mexico in such a in such a specific way.
Yes.
Of traveling around, searching for the best producers, the best ingredients, and being able to curate this experience for people in a jungle in Tulum.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a big challenge. At the end of the day, was my job specifically, apart from these research trips, it was mainly to make sure that when the restaurant was operating, we will have everything that they want in the jungle every day, fresh, perfect, and then it was a really amazing experience to see how can you plan in advance a result that where everything makes sense.
And bringing that all together.
Yeah. No, let's do that. It's like making a movie, so it's like you don't only just shoot in a studio. Well, you can, but then the good movies is the director thinks in the newspaper of the time what was in that newspaper that is in the floor in one scene that you don't see, but it's there, like what they were wearing in this, I don't know, in the 70s, in the hair, so it's these things that you don't think about when you watch a movie. You just say,
the diner wouldn't.
But it makes sense for you. So then that is kind of like the way that they curate the pop-up and the way that they curate and work in the restaurant, and the way that I understood that you could come up with these amazing results by focusing in quality and time. And when we finished the event, it was really successful, and people were traveling to Tulum.
So what was the biggest thing you took away from that whole experience working with?
I think it was kind of like that, like the meaning of quality, and how can you find quality in the and how can you put it in the right context? Like what does quality means? And it is I think one of the most difficult things of my career, and still difficult, is to know what is good. You can tell, but the only way, I believe that the only way to be close to what is good is to know what is bad or what is wrong, and then just slowly get into that place where it's good, But then that's, I think, the fact of finding the quality in things is the biggest thing that I take from that.
From that experience.
That experience.
So then, it was a success. You
it was
ran
a
the whole
success.
thing, and then
we did it, and then I was in the beach, and then I didn't really have anything to do.
I hope you took a holiday after that.
Yeah, I had like 2 weeks of just thinking like what to do. So I was thinking of going back to Mexico before Nuevo Mexico, but then But then we have this experience, so I was like, I think I want to promote. I want to keep going with this, like somehow. Like I want to
share the riches of Mexican cuisine with people.
I want to do that. I think this is huge potential. I think there is a lot of young people that we can help. You can help people by having a restaurant, because at the beginning,
it's a whole tribe, a whole community built around it.
Because I was thinking at the beginning, it's like, I don't want to have a restaurant. It's so much as a hassle. It's like so difficult, and it's not the best business. And I didn't really want to have a restaurant all my life. I'm not this chef that.
Your dream was never to open your own, to own your own restaurant.
Never the dream.
Yet here we are.
I know. It's never been the dream. Like I've never been one of these cooks is like, one day I will have my own restaurant, it's never been that.
So what was the dream?
My dream was to first of all understanding what is the relationship between food and people. That it was really fascinating for me. And then after working at Noma, I realized that building communities is something that is priceless. Like to be able to build a community and help people. So for me, I think the fact of helping others is one of the things that I enjoy the most. Like to be able to, because people help me a lot in my life, and then they are the way to not only help, but create a community that helps each other. A
whole ecosystem.
Ecosystem. So then the great thing about a great restaurant is that you can actually build that, and the potters that you work with, they can make a big order and they can make lots of pots for you. And then the people that fish the langoustines, they can fish the langoustines, and you can pay them the fair price, and they can keep doing that, and they're happy. And that goes like with everything, the staff as well. Like we can have a family that they all like come here, they learn, they work, they achieve things, and we all learn together and we all create things. And then I think that approach of really proactive sustainable ecosystem is what it made me believe in having a restaurant. So then I was like, actually,
this is it.
This is what I want to do. I want to build an ecosystem where everyone works together in a little, like in a kind of like sustainable way, where everyone is proactive and they can enjoy their work and their jobs. And we also can promote culture. That it's one of my biggest passions, is to be able to promote culture, like my Mexican culture.
Yeah.
So then that was it. Like that was in my mind. It's like, actually, if I can have something that is like at least 10% as this impactful, and be able to keep creating communities, helping people, and promoting culture, will be the dream. So then my dream was that it's not having a restaurant, it's a community. So then. And then that was it. I was thinking, okay, so how can I do it? Where should I do it? And I didn't really have any. No one was like, oh, Santiago, you want to open a restaurant?
Yeah. You just did you look on a map and think maybe London?
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like, okay, if I do it in Mexico, there's already a lot of Mexican restaurants in Mexico, obviously. So then it's probably not gonna make a difference. So then I'm gonna make it somewhere else in the world, and I think there is a lack of understanding of Mexican culture in the world. So I was just trying to put my little seed somewhere, and then I made a list of things that I believe that this city should have, and I made it, and then London ticked kind of like all the boxes. It was a place that it was quite centric. So then, because I've been living in Europe for 12 years, so then I have friends in France, in Italy, in Spain, like everywhere. So then in New York, so then a place that is quite central, where I can, like go in the weekend and visit my friends in Paris.
Did you feel ready to sort of set down roots, because you'd been traveling and living in different countries for so long?
Yeah, I think yes. I think there's a point where traveling and making events and it becomes quite tiring, and you just feel that you don't really belong anywhere.
We're getting old.
Yeah. No, but it's like you wake up,
you want
and
something
you don't
different.
know where you are. Like this, there were some weeks that I was like before and also after Nomad, I was making these events, and there was weeks that I was in like 5 countries in 1 week, having like 8 to 10 different flights. And then I was making imagine a cooking class in Ukraine, and then a dinner in Paris, and then the next day I was in Turkey in a congress, and then I was in in Germany making these tacos, and then a fine dining dinner in Italy, or and a show in I don't know, in London. So then at the end of the day, it was just so many things going on that then I will wake up and I will don't know where I was. Like you wake up and you're like, where am I? You don't know where you are, or like
traveling
what is
life
going on.
of a chef.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I have to admit that it's amazing. But in the other hand, you cannot, you don't exist. Like you go to the coffee shop and you don't know anyone. You don't know where. Like you're always like some weird, phantom kind of thing, which is great. But at the same time, for a time. Yeah. And then. So then, and for that, again, for that kind of like building a community thing, you cannot do it by traveling all the time.
Yeah.
You need to really be somewhere,
So it was what, end of 2017, 2018, you got on a plane to London, you're like, I'm going to open my restaurant, I'm going to build this community. But you came here, you hardly knew anyone.
Yeah. yeah, so that was the challenge. I thought it was easier.
It seems like you. It seems like you're very. You have an idea or a dream, and there's never a doubt in your mind. You just kept going until you found investors, until you found the right partnerships, and you made it happen.
Yeah,
despite the freaking crazy last.
I think
year and a half.
To be honest, I thought that it was easier. Which is great, because I think if I would knew how difficult it was, I would not do it. I'd be like, no, maybe it's something different. But I think innocence is a blessing. I think ignorance not, but innocence. I think innocence, to be able to understand that this, you don't know, you don't know how hard things or how the world might be, or what's the difficulties of actually making it. You just make it, and that is a blessing. And thinking like that, I think, is what it makes you invincible in terms of dreaming, and achieving things, because you don't have this wall that stop you for dreaming, and I think that is how I felt when I came here, that it was man, just gonna do it. Doesn't matter how it takes. And I think it's important to be patient, and just literally move here, not know anyone. I was living in Southeast London in a small room, sharing with a family, just in a house, and then just doing weekly. Just okay, so this week I'm gonna learn about the UK. So it's just literally just reading. Then this week I'm gonna walk around London. So walk. So that's the only task. Yeah, but that's the only task. So I was tasks. So this week I'm gonna
living in the moment.
Yeah, this week I'm gonna meet people that work in marketing or PR or restaurants. And but then whole week just meeting, having coffees with people, going to this congress for investors that you find online. That it probably doesn't they don't really, all these things, they don't give you an immediate result, but it kind of in your mind it starts.
You're working towards.
Yeah, exactly. You're working towards. You're actually slowly getting to understand the city, and then the idea that I had, it was I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but whatever. But I want to feel as ready as possible. And then understanding what the people will like. So then the idea is that not to have a product and then find people, is more to have people and then find the product
for them.
Yeah, exactly. So then my idea is okay, we have this concept of Mexican inspiration and the people and ingredients of Britain. How can we bound this together in the best way for the people from London? So then who is the people of London? What do they like? Where do they go? So then sometimes I was just going to the pub alone in a Sunday and just hear, just
listen.
Yeah, well, that's part of the job, It's interesting because it's been a research, a huge...
Yeah, because it's been 3 years, essentially,
it's a huge, long research of where am I, and then also traveling around the UK,
finding your producers.
Yeah, even though I will not buy from them, or probably they don't sell in London or whatever right now. It's just the fact of being in Wales. Is what is Wales? And what's the difference? What is Scotland? How it feels to be in the beach and in Scotland and see the seaweeds and fish and the air and the landscape. What is it? And I think that it gives you a lot of inspiration and a lot and tools for making things slowly that make sense.
Yeah.
So traveling around Wales, Kent, Scotland, some places around the UK, and having meetings in London, and slowly thinking, and then I wasn't really afford to make dishes, the whole dishes. So I will just go to the market and like buy half of the recipe, and then imagine the other half. So it's like
you're a dreamer.
Yeah. So it's like actually this is chicken, but imagine that is pork. Stuff like that.
And I read somewhere as well, like so even after you found the site for Cole, you would stick up the plans in your house, on your walls, and imagine yourself in the kitchen and in the restaurant every day.
Yeah. So that's something that I did as well. We came to this site. That was the first site that we saw. Like when I met my investors finally, because first
it's Marco and Jake.
Jake Cosimo and Marco Mendes. Yeah, they are like my family, like my brothers, and they've been like they also. I'm really thankful with them because they've been believing
in your vision,
me and my vision since day one. But this one was my dream, and I remember I pasted in the wall, and I was like every day I would wake up, I would look, and I would be like, I'm gonna be there inside every day, and then it took us a year to negotiate to get this site because it was the biggest A3 venue the Portland State had. And then so they really wanted something really special, and because we didn't have experience of I didn't have a restaurant before or anything, it was complicated for them to believe. But at the end, we convinced them. Like after a year, they give us the keys. Like after 1 year of like negotiations and trying and meetings. We got the site, and then
you were ready to open. And then you were ready to open in March last year, and then obviously COVID happened. Open for a bit in October, whatever. But we're finally here. It's opening very soon. But I mean, I'm sure the last 3 years, it does sound like it's been a roller coaster. But what would you like? What's been the toughest part? Did you ever lose faith or doubt?
I think yes, never completely, but I think there are different times where you are close to be lost. Like when I was going back in the train, and I was like, I've been here a year, and I don't even know what I'm going to do 100%. I don't know anyone yet, and not sure, but then it's like, then you have to be like really, really sure with your idea, like 100%. It's the only thing that matters, and it's just the moment that you leave it go off, it doesn't spark again. So then that's really important that
you just kept the faith.
Yeah, kept the faith. So that was quite hard, mostly because there's sometimes that you don't have like a certain like work or like a job, like you. I remember I was going to the supermarket. I was like, man, like I cannot even buy something to eat. Like I'm just gonna buy like sandwiches. That's the only thing, because I was giving everything. I gave everything to move here and make it happen. So that was a little bit hard. Now, even though it's been difficult and it's been unknown and everything, I feel really excited and happy to be able to do this,
I just want to ask you about your childhood. Was that always a dream to be a chef?
Not in my childhood. I didn't want. I didn't have any interaction with food until I was like 15. In my childhood, I wanted to travel the world. That was my dream. I remember when I was 5 years old, just looking 4 years old, looking the World Cup in a small TV with my granddad, and he was like, "Man, like I want to be in all these countries, I want to travel the world." So I think that I didn't know how to do it, and then at the end, I think food helped me.
Why did you start cooking?
When I was 15, I went to the supermarket, bought this box of Ritz crackers. And then I was just like, I'm gonna cook it. I'm just gonna buy the ingredients and just cook it at home and see what happened. And but then at the time I wanted to be a mathematician, I wanted to be a painter, I wanted to be like I was in the football team and the basketball team. I was like doing everything, like all the teenagers. And but then it was something about cooking that I really enjoy. And then I went back to the supermarket and bought this like little booklet of Italian food recipes, and I make the whole book. And I just enjoy it so much. To taste, to make, to build something. It's just like you think about something and it happens and you can eat it and you have pleasure to it. So that was amazing. And then you actually can share with people. But it wasn't until when I was still 15, my dad, my granddad and my grandmother passed away in the same month.
Wow.
Where I was really sad, and I didn't went to the school for like a month or so. And then I remember that I was going back to the restaurant. So I started working in an Italian restaurant a little bit part-time to see if I like it. But then this happened, and I went back to the restaurant. I feel safe, and I feel like excited about doing that. And then I went. I remember. I was bringing wine and food to my mother and my brother, cooking for them. And it was interesting to see how, even though we were like so sad in that moment, we could enjoy a meal together by me making it. So then that is to overcome sadness with food and drink. It's something that is so powerful. And I was thinking that if I can do this in this time for my mom, my brother, maybe I can just do it that for the rest of my life. So then that is what changed my life. That moment, see my brother and my mother eating, smiling when we were so sad. And also because I love cooking in the restaurant.
And the amazing thing is you can still do that for them, which is...
Yeah, I still can do that for them.
Are you close to your mum?
Yeah, close to her, yeah.
Has she been...
No, she hasn't been in London, no.
Is she coming?
Yeah, she's probably going to come in there. She got her first vaccine, so hopefully in the summer she'll come. Yeah. But
I'm sure your dad would be proud.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But yeah, I think it's a great profession to be a chef. It's hard. It's not an easy profession, but when you think about it, I think to know what you love to do for the first time, like in the early days or whenever, when you really enjoy what you're doing, is a blessing because you have drive to it's just endless. And I think the love for me with food and with cooking, it was like the first day that I was in that restaurant, the Italian restaurant, I felt that I belonged there for my life, for the rest of my life. I think some of me died that day and born something else, because it was just like I got into that kitchen to see if I like it when I was 15, and I saw the pasta and the pizza and the smell and like everyone working, and so I remember it was just like, that's it. You know, I love this. Like straight away, it was nothing else. It doesn't exist anything else for me.
Well, all your dreams have come true. You got to travel the world.
Yeah, I think so.
You cook. You still make people happy with your food.
Yeah.
And now you're about to open this beautiful restaurant for the people of London.
Yeah, I'm really thankful. I'm really thankful. So I think now it's just about keep building it, you know, and just be happy, you know.
Tell me about Cole. So we're sitting here in the downstairs Mez Caloria at the moment, but there are three parts of it. So, I mean, for people who probably haven't, most of them haven't had a chance to visit yet.
Yeah, so Cole, it is a restaurant that, well, at the beginning, as I said before, is the first idea that came to my mind was like, okay, I want this house, like this home, like big house in the middle of London, and I want the people to feel that way, like they feel that they are in your home bar, or they feel that they are in your home kitchen or in your home dining room, and then that idea went. It was in my head, and then and then to have like this kind of like chimney that like in Mexican houses don't have chimney, but in London they do. So then the idea, or in the UK, so then the idea was like, let's create this Mexican house with a chimney and a comal, that's where you make the tortillas, that is inspiring contemporary Mexico, and that have this open kitchen that is completely open. That is not, it's not a kitchen counter, so you're relaxing your table, comfortable, but you can see how everything is being made.
And the kitchen's in the center, like right in the center.
Yeah, exactly. So then that is kind of like what we did, and so the layout is the restaurant, the cold restaurant, the main dining room is in the ground floor, and you have this open plan kitchen. There are three like kind of like stations, rectangular stations, that they all have like their own like inductions and ovens and stuff with a chimney where everything is being cooked for you, and the chefs are cooking in the middle of the dining room, and this place is again this inspiring these big houses in Mexico City, and this architect called Luis Barragan, they have these tones of colors, so it's really Mexican warmth.
Because it does feel super warm, and it's sort of that terracotta color, and the music is going. And
exactly. So that is
special.
Exactly. So that is the main dining room. It's 56 covers, and we have two menus. One is 6-course menu, and the other one is a 9-course menu. They are set menus, but without we don't believe in this stiffness of fine dining.
Yeah.
It is fine dining because we're using the best ingredients we can find, and we work a lot to make that look great and be great, but without having to oversell you luxury.
Yeah.
And so then that it's we also have a lunch menu of 4 courses for people that are a little bit in a rush, and then downstairs we have 2 places. So one is the chef's table. So it's a chef's table experience that has its own kitchen. And it's 3 tables of 4.
Cooked by yours truly.
Yeah. We cook by me, and we have our team as well there. That is Adam and Megan, and my brother actually, Eduardo. That they are there, like making sure that everything is great. And then
is your brother a chef?
Yeah, my brother is an engineer.
Okay.
But he's mainly there in the chef's table as well.
You brought him into the family business.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he's
Younger
been helping
brother
me.
Or
younger? Yeah, his name is Eduardo Lastra, and he's been helping me in all the layout. He's an engineer.
Okay.
So he's been helping me in all the layout, like how we organize this. Like, okay, the mezcaleria, and then there's the chef's table, and then upstairs the restaurant, and then all the gadgets of the kitchen, and all these things that we did it together. And he's been working on all this logistics of getting all the pots, the masks, all these things that he's been working on the logistics. Yeah. He basically made it happen.
Okay.
And I'm the dream guy, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he's there, and the experience of the chef's table is that we have a test kitchen. So we are creating some new ideas, and of sauces, of techniques, or main courses, or whatever, that we have like an idea of like what is seasonal, came to the restaurant, let's cook something, and we set a really, let's say, creative tasting menu there, that it's with like a few snacks, and then like 7-8 courses, and then desserts and stuff. So it's a really a little bit longer,
a more special experience.
Like an experience.
Yeah.
So then that's 3 tables of 4, and that the inspiration of that space is a house in Oaxaca. That's the south of Mexico, with concrete and wood and like plants, and so it's more like a dining room.
Okay.
So I want to believe that upstairs you're eating in the kitchen. So it's like vibrant vibes of like what what is happening. It is the chimneys there, like the chefs are there. Wow,
Yeah.
And then
the music,
this one, exactly. And then
vibrant.
this one is the dining room. So you go into the dining room to eat, and you're sitting down, and there's the chefs coming and stuff like that. And then tables of 4. And then here is the mezcaleria, and the mezcaleria it's inspired. It's obviously a bar. It's a cocktail bar we use Mexican spirits.
Mezcal's made from agave.
Yeah, agave. So it's agave spirits, mezcal, tequila, and we also have other type of Mexican spirits like Mexican rum, Mexican gin, and other types like. But there's other ones that is posh, charanda. Like different things that are made with sugarcane or other things that we do in Mexico.
A whole treasure trove of.
Yeah, like basically,
spirits.
but basically like deep research of Mexican spirits, and we do cocktails with the spirits and British ingredients. So then this amazing guy called Maxime. So Maxime, he's Maxime Schutle. He is an incredible bartender, and he used to work in the American bar. And he's the bar manager here, and he creates the cocktails with his team, and we serve it with some Mexican street food, small Mexican street food bites.
Okay.
So it's more about like you come for a date or something, or with your friends, and you have some nice cocktails, and it's maybe different music, different music, more fun, kind of like lower light. Yeah. So it's a different. So then the idea is that you have like different occasions. Go to your friends upstairs, have a great experience, and then you come here a little bit more quiet to the chef's table to have like a more like an experience. And then here you go like for a drink, for some snacks.
Yeah, I mean the whole space is beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, so then the idea is that you can have 3 different experiences under an umbrella of a brand that we want to make sure that you understand that you take care of, and you'll be comfortable and having fun and having great products, like great food, great drinks, great staff, great wine.
Can't wait to come.
Yeah. Thank you.
What does col means?
Yeah, so col means cabbage in Spanish with a C.
Doesn't have the same ring in English.
Yeah, with a C. Yeah, with a C.
Yeah, okay.
So then the idea is that I made it with a C because with a K, I made it with a K because with a C it will be like alcohol or charcoal or like with a C. So then I made it with the K, so it doesn't really means anything in English, and then with the C means cabbage in Spanish, and we want to represent that underrated, undervalued things can be not only ingredients, but mainly like things like culture, like Mexican food, Mexican undervalued things can be, especially if you believe in them or you put them in the right context. But that goes beyond ingredients, like more like
even the pots you have. Yeah. And it does feel like each element there's so much intention and thought that's gone into, where you source from, or what architect you've used, or what pots you've put in the dining in the main restaurant, to the mezcals you've sourced. Yeah. It's all very intentional and specific, and it feels like you've created this beautiful place of quality and integrity and care. Yeah, like you were saying. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing that you can feel that. Feel that. Yeah.
But I want to know. So I've never had the chance to eat your food or to try your food before. So what can people expect when they come? Give me some highlights from the menu.
So the food of the restaurant, it means to share, not to impress. So then the idea is that we try to do a really, really kind of like accessible taste and approach of flavors to bring Mexican inspiration to British ingredients. So then we don't really overcomplicate it, but we serve it in the best way that we can.
Yeah.
So then the idea is that you will find. For example, the first dish is a chalupa, that is corn. We mill the corn, we cook it, it's heritage corn, and then we do like a little container.
That you do get from Mexico.
From Mexico, right? Yeah. And then we do this little container that looks like a boat, so it's like a little boat. And then inside we make a pistachio paste that is like a guacamole. And then on top we put, in one side we put Cornish crab that it's been cooked like perfectly and dressed with fermented gooseberries and and some Scotch bonnet
the
sauce.
gooseberries for the citrus.
For the acidity, for the acidity.
Yeah, because you don't use lemons or limes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the pistachio will be like instead of the avocado.
Yeah, the guacamole.
And then the other side, enoki, we do these enoki mushrooms that we cut, so it looks like a crab as well. So then it's interesting because the two of them have a similar texture, but then the crab has a slightly more, obviously, a seafood flavor, and the mushroom have this like vegetable flavor. So then, and then they come together in your mouth. So it's like, it is quite technical, but at the end of the day, it's a chalupa of crab with mushrooms.
Yeah.
And then you eat it, and that is the first course. And then we're doing a trout dish that it's a Scottish trout that it's been cured and then cooked with a glaze that is made with smoked chilies from Mexico and fermented blackcurrant juice.
Ooh.
And then we just glaze it with that. There's like a honey of smoked chilies. Mm-hmm. So we glaze the trout and we cook it in the grill. But first is poached in smoked butter. So then the texture of the trout is like when you cook it perfectly, so it flakes perfectly, and we flake it in the dish.
Fleshy and
so we flake exactly. We flake the trout, and we serve with broad beans and peas and blackberries and like a little mayonnaise that is made with wild garlic that we harvest ourselves.
Amazing.
So that's another dish, and then we also have octopus, like whole grilled octopus with lamb fat. That it's cured in kombucha and then grilled in the barbecue and then served with bone marrow that is caramelized and some new potatoes.
Making me hungry.
So then
there are tortillas on the menu.
Yeah, we have tortillas in the menu. We have
that's
flour.
The sharing.
Yeah, so that is
course,
the main
right?
course is for sharing. So then the idea is that we don't want to take off that meaning of communal eating that you have in Mexico, even though we are a set menu, like tasting menu restaurant, we still want you to have an experience that it has this element of sharing, like Mexico. Like your mom will not come and will serve you a perfectly cooked chicken breast or with like dots of puree and
a squiggle of foam.
Yeah, exactly. You will not have that. You have the whole piece of an animal and tortillas and
the salsa.
Yeah, and then that's it.
And you get to build your own.
Yeah, you build your own. You know what you like. You like more onions. You like more chili. You like what you like.
So you can still get stuck in, and it's
exactly. So because
you can eat with your hands.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that is kind of like what people should expect about Mexican food. That it's about diversity. So it champions diversity, not only in the ingredients and the preparation, but also in yourself. Like, what do you like? You like this sauce. You like this other sauce. You like to put more spice. You like less. So then that makes Mexican food to be endless because everyone put their own touch. So then we leave the people in their main courses to basically treat themselves and just dig in and make their own stuff, whatever they want. And so then that is in the main courses, and then the snack and the menu start building up with different small dishes and medium dishes that champion seasonality and our interpretation of Mexican flavor. And then these main courses are for sharing, and then some ice cream,
Delicious.
Yeah. So that's kind of like the food style of the restaurant.
Okay. And then I just want to touch on your wine list. I mean, it seems like you love wine.
Yeah.
You've got a sort of personal interest in wine, and you've chosen, again, very intentionally to champion Central and Eastern European wines from artisan small producers. Why?
So basically, when I was also thinking of opening the restaurant, I focus in what we're gonna serve? Wine, right? So I want
Actually, what do people drink in Mexico?
In Mexico, you will not have wine. You will have like probably agua fresca, that is like just fresh waters that are made with either is like hibiscus tea with like sugar and lime, or lime, like a squeeze of lime juice, water and sugar, or an ice, or you will have like a fruit waters, like melon that is blended with sugar, or mango, or peppermint with chia seeds. It's all about like texture. So you have like a slightly thick water with acidity and sometimes fruits. So then that is how you normally eat because you need something that have some sort of acidity and is fresh, refreshing. So and that's why I think these wines are biodynamic wines are really refreshing in the palate. We
taste alive.
Yeah, mainly orange wines, like unfiltered wines, that you get this texture element to the wine as well. And I had the opportunity making the event to travel around Eastern Europe, and I got impressed about the diversity of the grapes hearing the names of grapes I never heard in my life. There's like what Silokuri or like Krasatelli or like grapes from Georgia or from Turkey or from Slovenia, Slovakia, Austria. So all these places, Hungary, that they have their own specific heritage grapes I never heard in my life. I thought everything was Sauvignon Blanc or
Chardonnay.
Yeah, exactly. Like you think that is French wine, Italian wine, Spanish wine, and there's probably like some other wines from other places, but the mains are those. So then the fact of going to these places and it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. What is this? And it's like, yeah, it's the local Devin grape from Slovenia, and I was from Slovakia. I was like, wow, it smells like roses. So then at the end of the day, I got impressed about this, and then I also traveling around Georgia in a press trip. I got the opportunity to try orange wine for the first time. Well, not for the first time, but like for the first like real experience time. That is like we were in the communal table eating, having lunch, and it was like spicy food and lots of really incredible things in the table, and really similar to Mexican dinner lunch, and then the owner of the house will take a jug and just pour it underneath the ground from this like big clay pot that was buried.
Feveries.
Yeah, exactly.
I never know how to say it.
Clay pot. Yeah. That is a kevery. Yeah, but it was a clay pot that it was like literally like in the table side, like underneath the ground, and there's this guy just with a jug, and then from
fishing
the
out
ground,
some wine.
and then he poured this orange liquid for everyone. And I was like, this is amazing.
Like
and
liquid gold.
Yeah, exactly. So the drinking that's so refreshing from the temperature of the land, with this tannic aftertaste and acidity and like smell of orange and flowers and citrus. It was exactly the best pairing for what we were eating, that it was quite heavy. And like, so then not quite heavy, but like quite complex in terms of flavor. So I was thinking like, this is just the perfect match for what we do. And then I started researching and going to wine fairs and natural wine fairs and meeting people. And I came up with this idea, like after researching like how much do they lost their tradition because of the Second World War and the communism and all these things, that they stopped making wine or using the heritage grapes and stuff. So now they are using it again. So then I was like, actually, I think this is the perfect match for the concept of the restaurant, to use something on their value and add to the mix, and also to champion this orange skin contact wines that are just incredible
And
with the food that we do.
And they stand up better because they're obviously a bit more full-bodied and tonic.
Yeah.
They stand up better to the spice.
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly. So then it's a really great pairing, and it's something that you normally will find. You find in restaurants, you can find those wines, but they will
they're
be
not heroed.
but then it will be in the rest of the world kind of section. Suddenly you will have this Georgian wine in somewhere that it's probably the sommelier liked it, and he just put it there just in case that someone buy it, but you're never going to buy it because...
Not at Cole.
But then here we did it the other way around. So it's like here we have whites, orange, red, rosé, sparkling, all these wines from Central Eastern Europe. And then you have a section that is the rest of the world, that Italy, France, and Spain. So those are the rest of the world. Even though they're amazing. I mean, like wines from Italy and France and Spain, insanely amazing. And I don't think that they're not good enough, but it's just the way of highlighting these other parts of the world to people to be open to, oh man, I have this amazing Czech wine. And
your house wines are specifically made for Cole.
Yeah, they're specifically made for Cole in Slovakia. And there is this winery called Slobodne that means freedom in Slovak. And we share so many things, so we're really good friends. And I met them in a dinner that I made in Italy. They were pouring the wine for my pop-up. And then I remember I taste the wine and it tastes like flowers. And I was like, what is this? This is not wine. What do you put in there? And it's like nothing. It's just the local grape that is the vin. And then they make these really cool combinations and incredible combinations with the local grapes. And I just love their wines. And then I went to visit them and we became really good friends. And then through a common friend called Nick, he has a company called Model Wines.
I'm a big fan. The best wines.
So he is like a really good friend, and we went together to sort out like how can we actually have a house wine that is not just the cheapest wine that wherever companies sell to you. Because at the end of the day, your house wine is kind of like that always. So how can we have a high quality house wine that is a real house wine?
But again, it's like the whole ethos of Cole. You wanted something special, produced by someone who cares, that is integral to nature, that they do it in a way that
we can build a community together. So then at the end of the day, I went there, we tried the wines, and we did this collaboration to be able to get a tank, get three, 4 tanks of an orange, a white, a red, and a rosé wines that they are specifically for Cole, and build a relationship, and we're happy and so proud to promote them as our family.
If you could go for a meal with anyone in the food world, who would it be and where would you take them?
I will go to eat cochinita pibil. That is a traditional pool suckling pig dish with René from Noma.
Okay, and where are you eating it?
In a small town called Yaxuna.
Okay.
That it's in Yucatan. Yeah.
Okay, done. So Cole is opening very soon. What's the thing you're most looking forward to about getting back into service?
I think to serve the first dish to the guest. I'll serve it myself. It's just basically, yes, I think it will be a really great feeling of achievement. It's like, man, like we did it, we're back.
We're back.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Okay. The dish you're most proud of on the menu?
I think the langoustine tacos.
Okay.
Because it really represents the journey of the restaurant.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Okay, people have to come and try them.
Yes.
5 ingredients you couldn't live without.
At the moment, I'll say habanero, like Scotch bonnet, chilies, corn, kombucha, seafood, and chocolate.
Of course, chilies, chocolate, and corn. You're Mexican.
Exactly.
What do you cook for yourself the most at home?
I actually, funny enough, cook myself at home mainly Spanish food.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say
Italian food.
Okay.
Spanish and Italian food. Yeah.
What's your go-to dish?
I mean, like, I love paella, you know, so I do paella every Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, at home, yeah.
What's the first thing you crave or that you want to go and eat when you go back to Mexico?
I will love to eat barbacoa. That is this lamb that is cooked under the ground in a place called La Gruta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Delicious. I saw that on a chef's table.
Yeah, exactly. That one, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to Mexico on holiday, and if I can only visit one region, which would you recommend I go to?
Oof, that's a really complicated one. But I would say as beginner, I would say Oaxaca.
Okay.
Should go to Oaxaca.
Okay. Done. If you weren't a chef, you'd be?
I'll be a mathematician. Yeah.
Do you
Back in the days, you know, I wanted to be a mathematician.
So you don't carry a calculator around with you. You just go.
No.
What drink are you pouring yourself after a busy service?
What, sorry?
What drink are you pouring yourself?
Mezcal. Yeah, mezcal.
Okay.
Yeah, 100% pure mezcal.
Just on the rocks?
Just without rocks.
Without rocks? Wow. Okay, hardcore. What do you love the most about being a chef?
I think be able to have a team, to build a team as your family, and to keep creative, you know. Yeah, so keep yourself creative. That's what I kind of love more. And eating, you know.
Santiago, it's been such a treat speaking to you, and people are going to love Cole, I'm sure.
Thank you.
I know I can't wait to come.
Thank you. You're always welcome.
If I can get a booking.
You're always welcome, yeah.
Thank you, as always, for listening. Now, go and get yourself booked in for a very special dinner at Cole. The next episode will be with you next Friday. If you want to say hello in the meantime, you can find me on Instagram at @the_food_tribe. And if you've been enjoying the show, please do take a quick moment to subscribe, leave a rating and a review. 5 stars would be great. Perhaps share the episode with your friends. And until next week, bye.